Here we go. Start her up. Bing. Bong. Chat, today we have to beat Bugsy. And we have to beat Rival. And we gotta get the Goldenrod. Oh my god. So what I need to do right now is I need to figure out what type Bugsy uses. Cause yawn. Why do they yawn? Why are you so tired? Oh, they're so tired! Tell me something. Bugsy made this gym. It's fairy puppets. So, he's a master of nature. Okay. They don't like fire or flying. They also don't like poison. Bagooby and Pargu are gonna do pretty good here, actually. Oh yeah, it's all coming together, boys. Alright. Oh, right. This. What do you think's down there? In that hole? That hole in the floor. That bottomless abyss. What do you think happens if you fall down there? Think you'll ever get out? Think there's a way out? Viola did it. Yeah, she did, didn't she? Viola did it too, where you climb down a rope and you land on a spider web. Why? I don't know, dude. Berg has you, like, go up cocoons or some shit. I think his gym was different in black and white. Didn't he have, like, a Mario 64 type shit where you had to, like, jump in paintings? Or am I, like, am I losing it? Because I'm pretty sure his gym is different in Black and White 1 and Black and White 2. That was a lot of EXP. Larva. I'm just gonna spit. Great. My most effective tactic for this gym is crying. That's... was walls of honey. I don't remember that. I remember jumping through a painting. But, like... honey? Maybe I jumped in a wall of honey. Black and White 2 is cocoons. You enter the silk cocoon and it's like an elevator. There it is. You proved how tough you are. In the original game, this gym was kind of like Erica's, but backwards. If that makes sense. Like Erica's gym, you go forward and you go around the middle, but in Bugsy's gym, you kind of go up and then down. You do like an upside down J. What? I don't know what I'm saying. Fairy puppets evolve young, so they get stronger that much faster. It's only partially true. There's a lot of dangerous gyms. It's funny because in Gen 1, like, Brock's gym is just kind of like a rocky field. Misty's gym is a pool. Lieutenant Surge's gym is a little bit of a hazard because he's got an electric wall and for some reason a lot of trash cans. Erica's gym is just like a garden. Koga's gym is just invisible walls. Sabrina's gym is teleporters. Blaine's gym is a quiz. And Giovanni's gym is just like a building. Like, those gyms, they're colored. Like they're colored like the types, but they're not really anything crazy. And in Gen 2, it's kind of similar. Like, Faulkner's gym isn't too complex. Bugsy's gym is basically a forest again. Whitney's gym is a Clefairy. Morty's gym is when things get weird. Because now, there's the black tile. If you walk on the black tile, you get teleported. You get teleported to the entrance. And in Heartgold and Soul Silver, they changed it so it's not just touching the black tile, it's like falling into the endless abyss. Going, ah! And then you end up back at the start, and you're like, what the fuck? So that's how that happens. Chuck's gym is like normal. Jasmine's gym is really not that different from like Brock's gym. Price's gym is just it's a skating rink. And Claire's gym in the original game was you like fall down a hole or some shit. And in this game, it's like they got lava imported in there. Yeah. Oh. Why do they do that? I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this gym is gonna be hard carried by my goobers. So I'm gonna do the trainer battles and go heal. If Parsi and Medicine don't beat this gym on their own, then I just lose. Probably. Maybe. We'll see. I'm just trying to pinpoint when gyms got, like, ridiculous. Oh, this is actually a double battle. Whoa, the sparkle effect freaked out there. You see that? Alright. Whatever, I guess... Ow. I guess Guya's here. In Gen 3, Roxanne's gym is fine. Oh, that murdered her. Brawly's gym is just dark, which is... it's kind of a hazard. Watson's gym has electric switches, but I don't know if that electricity is very strong. Flannery's gym is just like hot sand. Norman's gym is... Norman's gym. Winona's gym is just like... gates that you push with your body. Tate and Liza is teleporters. And... well, actually, Wallace is definitely a hazard. Because Wallace, you're walking on that ice and it crumbles and you fall down, right? That's pretty dangerous. I would say that that's a very dangerous thing. Spider bite. Break the rope. Battle the guy. And then you get to Gen 4, where Rorak he's just kind of like elevated. Gardenia's interesting, because Gardenia's gym changed in Platinum. Her gym in Diamond and Pearl was really, like, odd. It was just kind of like a park, and you had to go find the trainer and beat the trainer, and it spawned the next trainer. And in Platinum, they're like, alright, now it's a clock. So, I don't know. You tell me. I actually don't remember what Fantina's gym looks like in Diamond and Pearl. But Fantina's gym is also the 5th gym in Diamond and Pearl. In Platinum, it's just dark and you have a flashlight. Maylene's gym is a bunch of, it's basically just a gym. Like, actually, an actual gym. There's no two ways about that. It's just a normal gym. Wake's gym has rising water levels, which could be dangerous, I suppose. Byron's gym is dangerous because he has a bunch of elevators that shoot you up, and he has no guardrails. That shit is omega dangerous. Candace is just another ice gym, however, there's like more slopes, and you crash into snowballs, and it's all, you know. And Volkner's gym, which has giant machinery that you activate, and if somebody like falls in there, oh no. Oh no, I don't like gears. I don't like big gears. And then in the remakes here, we have Faulkner's gym, which is that it shoots you up on that fucking pillar, and then you have to walk on the no rail guarded walkway. And now we're in Bugsy's gym, which is not really that dangerous, but like, what's down there in the darkness? I think most people would say that the most dangerous gym in the series belongs to like Skyla, because part of her gym is getting fired out of a fucking cannon and having giant wind turbines like push you off, like off of an edge, and you fall. Like, what's going on? That woman's crazy. I don't remember other ones, like, at all. The further into Pokemon you get, the more hazy my memory gets. There's some Pokemon that I have very little to no knowledge of. There's some Pokemon moves that I didn't even know existed. Love orbs. How'd I up the shiny chance? I didn't. The dev did. He changed values. I don't know what that means, because I just play the games. I don't make them. You can get splattered on the wall. Hell yeah. Left one. Alright. Didn't Wolfric's gym require you to, like, spin the floor around? I actually don't remember what's going on in that gym. Ramos is just like climbing, but also there's climbing in the rock climbers gym. No, the further in you get, the weirder it gets. I don't really know what a Magearna is. I know that Magearna is one of the most annoying Pokemon in competitive. I know that Magearna originated from like Gen 7 somehow, and it was in the anime. But like I don't really know what a Magearna is, and I don't really care either. Zarude? I don't really know what a Zarude is either. Pecharunt? I didn't do that part of Scarlet and Violet, actually. I don't know what a Pecharunt is either. I'm Bugsy. I never lose when it comes to fairy puppets. I think I could take this guy. Although, in base game, he leads with his best because he used U-turn as his option. Good to see he doesn't do that here. That is a high level, though, but I don't think it matters, because Bagooby is just gonna cry about it. That also doesn't matter. Zarude has a move called Jungle Healing, which I think is like Refresh and Recover, or something. And it's also a Grass Dark type, which is not that good. You know, there are moves that I learned about. There's a move I learned about from watching the anime. Oh, Leech Seed. Oh, Puggies. Oh my god, do I get rid of Paralysis or Poison Powder? I think I keep Stun Spore because Poison. Great, okay. I'm gonna get rid of Poison Powder. There's a move that someone uses with a Luxray. I think it's Volpner. It's some kind of move that has an effect in electric terrain. And I honest to God cannot remember what it was called. But I remember I had to Google it because I was like, that's not a real move. And I Google it, and it was introduced in the Gen 8 DLC. Which, yeah, alright. That did 18, so I can take another one. Yeah, Rising Voltage. That sounds right. Rising Voltage sounds right. I was like, that's not a real move. I've never heard of that move. It's because it was introduced in the Gen 8 DLC. I didn't play the Gen 8 DLC. Wow. Good job, Bagooby. She's dead. And then you're gonna end with a Kriggle? A Kriggle? Throat Chop? I know that one. I played Sun and Moon. Strength Sap was one that I didn't know about for a long time. I found out about that one from, like, watching competitive. Because Strength Sap is a really fucking good move. And it's pretty restricted on which Pokemon get it. Interestingly, Drifblim is a Pokemon that gets that one. Like, Drifblim and Vileplume are the only two I can think of off the top of my head that have that. Expanding Force for electric terrain. That doesn't kill you, right? Oh, no, hold on, I'm thinking of Misty Explosion. Expanding Force is just like double power in Psychic terrain. Misty Explosion is the one that explodes. That one I knew about because it's funny. That one is funny because it's just, you explode. I hate Grassy Glide though. But maybe it's because I hate Rillaboom. I wouldn't even hate Rillaboom if it wasn't for the fact that he just sets terrain and then he spams a fucking priority move with way too high base power. Like, that Pokemon doesn't think. If your puppets at level 30 will obey you. You can use Cut. What's this? That was an easy fight, by the way. Leaf Blade, isn't that great? That fight went really well because I got the Spadef drop on Eternity and just killed her. Like, she didn't get to play the game. It's good to have poison types, I suppose. High critical hit ratio, 90 base power. Yeah, so, like... Okay... You know what? It's better than Razor Leaf. Sure. Your attack is 18, but it's still better... It's literally just an upgrade of Razor Leaf. He wasn't really able to use that move because, well, Bagooby ×4 resists. Now, sometimes you think that, oh, this Pokemon game's too easy because you just swept the gym. But in reality, the reality of the situation is often that there are some puppets that do really well against a certain type. And when the gym is comprised of purely that type, go figure, that puppet does really well. And in this case, I have a poison grass type. So medicine takes like 0 damage to their stab options. So the only thing they can do is hit me with shitty, inoffensive, non-stab moves. Or in Eternity's case, hit me with a low-powered, super effective move, which might not actually have been stab. So like, yeah, medicine's just kind of the right puppet for that gym. Seriously. That's a really good catch for that gym. Parsi would have been okay, but Parsi, I don't think Parsi would have resisted Leaf Blade, so I could have got stomped. Kaguya would have resisted it, but Kaguya wouldn't be able to hit them very hard. So yeah, that's really all it is. Now to make more progress. So we have to go... We have to fight this guy. I think I can take him. I can take him. Goop. Team Rocket has returned. You beat them. Quit lying. Alright, let's see what you got. He's got a Tojiko. Okay. Okay. Well, let's set up the Leech Seed, because I'm gonna resist that. Now, if you know anything about grass types, is that defensive grass types with access to Leech Seed are some of the most annoying fucking Pokemon in the series. And in this case, think of Shizuha. Remember my H Shizuha? She did one thing from level 20 to level 100. She clicked Absorb moves, clicked Leech Seed, and clicked either Burn or Sleep. That is what she did. And she was one of the best puppets to ever do it. She was. Oh, bye. Yeah. I'm gonna throw a Leech Seed on her. Because I can take that. I can take that. Yeah! Now I gotta switch. I can't take another one. Let's see. She's probably gonna use a... Who's got higher special defense? You're weak to it. You have the same special defense as Glurp? Why? Yo, what the fuck? Why has Glurp got the same special defense as Chansey? What a hero! Watch, this is gonna do 4 damage. Predicted. Okay, that did 11. But I healed, so it actually only did 5 damage. Holy shit. You're a Reason type. That didn't hurt. That did 18. Dang. Sun and Moon had a lot of issues. Sun and Moon didn't let you have Crabrawler until you got to Mount Lalaika, but there was no way to like evolve it at Mount Lalaika without like, finishing the fucking game. That only hits twice, right? Oh, no. There's also Vikavolt. The Route 1 bug, you're not allowed to evolve until you get to the last island of the game. They made a lot of decisions in Sun and Moon that were confusing. They give you an Ice Stone to evolve your Sandshrew or Vulpix at the end of Po Town. Granted, you catch that Pokemon pretty much... Ooh, okay. You catch that Pokemon pretty much right at the midpoint of that island. They fucked up Marowak too because they made Marowak learn Shadow Bone like before Cubone evolves, so you can't actually use Shadow Bone with an Alolan Marowak if you get one in a story playthrough. Why do they do that? I don't know. Do you think I have the answers? Perhaps you should find them yourself. But there's a number of instances like that in that game that are just really confusing choices because they don't really work. I'm just gonna click every move and see which one does the most damage. Okay. Pound probably does more than Thundershock. Alright, that did nothing. Well, Ultra Sun... No, it doesn't matter about them making earlier obtained. What I'm saying is that the item that you use to evolve Vulpix and Sandshrew is at the end of the third island. You get it, like, in Po Town outside by the pool. Unless there's an earlier Ice Stone in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. But, like, you get Vulpix or Sandshrew on the grass outside the mountain, which is about halfway up the third mountain anyway. So you do get some time to use the Pokemon before you can evolve it. My ass used a Crabrawler from level 6 all the way to, like, 39. Like, I finished Po Town and I still had a Crabrawler, and I was like, that's it, I'm Googling it. So I Googled how evolve Crab. And they're like, you have to take it to the grass at Mount Lalaika. Mount Lalaika doesn't open up until are getting to the Elite Four. And I was like, oh, cool. Guess who's off the team? That's right. It's you, Crabrawler. You're off the team. You're out of the game. How many times have I done that? I did that with Gimmighoul. I used Gimmighoul. That I caught at like, what, level 8 or some shit? It never learned any new moves. I got it to level 50 and knew like Feint Attack and Pursuit. I think that's all it learns. And then I was like, alright, how do you evolve this stupid motherfucker? And it's like, you have to find 999 Gimmighoul coins. What? How many do I have? 400. I had 400. Ooh. Alright, I'm pretty sure this thing's poison type. And it has a move that can't miss. Okay, so Smoke Screen's pointless. Remember the trailer they show a Crabrawler one-shotting a Mega Kangaskhan? No, I don't remember that, actually. Alright, well. Nice. Yeah, hit that Screech. Alright, let's fuck her up. Wow. I didn't think you'd be weak to that. That's ridiculous. There's no way I could lose to a wimp like you. I didn't even need to use the Screech or the Smoke Screen. Oh well. Crabominal has a Mega. Is it good? I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy on that one. Most of Gen 7's Pokemon aren't that great. The ones that are good are like the fucking Ultra Beasts or Tapus. I hate the weak. I read his name as God, so I thought he said, God, I hate the weak. I think they're big and tough as long as they're in a group. Get them alone, they're weak. I hate them all. Aight, bro. Whatever you say, bro. I was really disappointed when I got a Crabominable. Because to me it was like, I thought he was going to turn into a real fight crab. He just turned into an abominable snowman. I was like, what? Now he's an ice type? That's awful. I wanted fucking Rocky Jr., man. He punched. Why'd he turn to a fucking Yeti? Stay out of mischief. Who protects the forest? Is it the drunk lady? Alright, Elix Forests. So, we're not looking for a shiny here, per se. We have to get through here, though. There's gonna be a lot of encounters. You never know what we're gonna find out in the wilds, of course. But let's go. First, we need to deal with this. Man, my boss can be angry. Sage that cuts trees for charcoal took off. Sage have sensitive ears. Seja? Seja. Just facing the direction of the noise. What a jerk. I'm wrangling sages. Okay. Gotcha. Qua! Snatched her. You found a sage. There's one more. I'm doing a community service here. I thought there was encounters here. Or is there actual grass and I'm just like a fool? Well, I'll be damned. I was fool. Look at me, there are cows in the woods. Oh, right, I gotta chase you. Quah! Watch this trick. It's just a fucking cow, dude. Alright. Wow! Bagooby got tangled up in branches and almost fell down. Oh no! Quack! Easy does it. Here comes the boss. I should go back and get a charcoal though. My Say and Ja. You found him for us, kid? Great. So, Seja is capable of using cut. Sage him cut. Teach it to a puppet. You have to have the gym badge to use it. Okay, I hope I have somebody that can learn it. Can anybody on my team cut? What? You? Why? Why? Okay. I guess we're getting rid of Mimic. Why can Kaguya cut? Aya! You want an apprentice charcoal? You'll be first rate in 10 years. She was raised by bamboo cutters. That's a good reason. That's actually a pretty good reason. I can't run! Who is the fastest person on my fucking team? 18, 15, 10, 11, 24. Dude, Parsi is the fastest and her ability repels wild Pokemon. I'm here for a charcoal. Takes guts, I like that. Come train with us. Thank you. There you go. Gothic leader. Quah! Okay. Parsi is the fastest on my team with an ability that makes encounters less likely. Everybody else has an encounter that makes snails look like highway motorists. Tay has the ability Runaway, so she can always run. Nobody on my team is fast. I'm always gonna go second. Whatever. Cut this tree. You can only advance in the forest by clearing out this itty-bitty little tree. Stupid. The Elix Forest Shrine. It's a tribute to the Forest Protector. Hey, what replaces the notched ear Pichu in this game? Oh, there's a Tsukasa in here. I got that event, the shiny Pichu, notched ear Pichu. I never got the Celebi event, though. The one that lets you do the Giovanni fight in the past. Where you can take care of Giovanni at the same time you're taking care of Team Rocket. Sumereko, Urumi, and Tsukasa. Wow. Elix Forest is so overgrown with trees you can't see the sky. Watch out for items that have been dropped. It can be headbutted. Oh yeah, headbutt encounters. Forgot about those. Do you think she looks like Ron? When she's shiny, I mean. Who knows? Isn't there like one trainer in here? One trainer in here. There's that guy. That guy over there gives you headbutt. Hold on, I'm coming. Kane's in here too. Well, I did have a very good Kane last playthrough. Donk. Donk. What am I doing? I'm shaking trees using headbutt. It's fun. Which puppet should learn it? Surely Glurp can learn it, right? Yeah! Glurp can do anything. You don't need to tackle anymore, Glurp. You can headbutt. I guess I don't need karate chop, but I'm gonna get rid of tackle eventually anyway. Alright, now she can put a dent in her head. How you like it? Your Glurp looks stronger. Oh, you just do it all infinite times? Take care of your head. Alright, Glurp! Do it! Incredible. There are Segas in the trees. I don't know how headbutt tree encounters work at all. I actually have no idea how they work at all. Kimono girl lost in the forest all alone. Help me get out of this forest. Yeah, sure. I have a bunny. Look, follow the bunny. She's really good at this. You're gonna show me how to get out? You're such a smart puppet. They're really good at this. See? She knows how to escape forests. Good job. Good job. Alright, so the encounters in this forest are kind of... I don't like them. I don't really like them. Ugh. Too much bottom of the popularity poll for my liking. Whose popularity poll? My popularity poll! Must be a heart-type puppet. Try using this TM. Isn't this the TM for Sweet Scent? It's Taunt. Oh, that's not Sweet Scent. Feh! Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Daiose. Looks like she spit on me, dude. Alright. This is where I do my training. Chat, we have to examine the grass and then get to the daycare. And when we get to the daycare, ooh, it'll be time. It'll be time. Oh. I will create the ultimate. Alright, that did exactly... Oh! Enough to kill. Or maybe a little bit more. Whatever. I almost died. Kagero. Dark Beast. Guya, because Guya can cut. Guya has gained the ability to chop. Ow. Ow. Loud, aren't ya? That's alright. Yeah. Oh. Never mind. What? He's switching? Why? Why the fuck did he just switch? Did he not hit me? Oh, that's bonkers. Alright, let's try Flash. Oh, this sucks. You don't know your types. No, I don't. Hey, that's pretty goo. Alright, that's pretty good. Blade Flash, that's gonna do 5. Okay, did 16. Send in the Kagero. Seki Bonky. Yeah, you are actively avoiding that Kagero. Can you not hit me? Do you not have a move that hits me? How is that even possible? I don't have any immunities, I don't think. That's just a floating head. Gimme it. Yeah. Bite. A crit. I like that it's like really high up. Like, why does it need to be that high up? Why can't it be a little lower? It's a floating head. Alright, I'm sending back in Goo because I want to see if this Kagero can hit me, because I'm pretty sure that Trainer AI does not switch unless it actually cannot deal damage to you. So, like, no, it can do damage. Why the fuck did it switch then? Wow, okay. It can hit me just fine. That's really weird. Do trainers just have a very small chance to switch? Or did, like, what caused that? Because as far as I know, most of it comes from Frontier information, is that the only time something will switch in the Frontier is if it does not have a move it can hit you with. So if you switch into a flying type and they have a ground type and their only offensive option is a ground type move, they'll switch out because they cannot hit you. That's like the only reason they'll switch. I don't know how, like, accurate they are on that information, mind you. Hold on, I'm going up to... You saw me from all the way over there? What? I'm trying to get to the center, my guy. My Lunasa got tackled by a rat and she's bleeding. Oh, it's just Lily. It's just Lily. I did 3. Succumb to the darkness. Wait, I'm dead. That did 4. How annoying. Glurp, you're up. It's gonna feel bad when Glurp has to leave the team. Everybody's gonna miss her. She's been such an asset. A hero to this company. Alright. Will we? You're just mad because instead of a bunny with black hair, I have a snot-nosed brat. You think that if I had Racing on this team, that she would stay and somebody else would go? That motherfucking rabbit would be the first one kicked off the team. We already established her BST is like worse. It's like as bad as a Delibird. Raisins at least fast. Glurp has the same special defense as Chansey. Chansey! Oh, this is gonna be a fucking battle is what this is gonna be. Just keep throwing poison at her. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll get another Spadef drop before you die. Lock on. Okay. Oh, neat. That's probably a better move like that than it would normally be, huh? I think orange in this game has huge power, actually. Medicine. Kuya should work. Me and my fat ass HP pool. Wow, 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 wow. It's alright. I can win. I'm dead! Oh wait, that did neutral. That did 10. I will live. Go will win! I like how anytime you create like fan Pokemon or some type of fan Pokemon-esque game, you need some motherfucker to be Chansey. Does this game have a Ferrothorn? Pick up items, you can have it. Yes, actually, because I think you can find me shards. Extra Momiji and Puppet Dance performance. She is Ferrothorn. She is Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is a really annoying defensive puppet. It's also really good at dealing with Power Aya. With a small bit, you just cause her to do a bunch of chip to herself. Follow me, Jupe. Alright, here's our tutorial to this. This is your girlfriend, I see. Alright. Alright, boys. We're here. We're gonna get this going. First, we get a Kadama. Second, we get Goo. And then, we get busy. Take Flan. Take Kadama. Look at them in there, bouncing up and down together. Alright. I'll come back for them. We have to clear out our box. So I gotta clear the trainers first. Yeah. You can check on the puppets we raised for you. Yeah. The two don't seem to like each other much. That's okay. They don't have to like each other much. Because they're gonna produce many goo. Many goo. I'm going to create 4 of a kind. Maybe even 400 of a kind. Alright, let's clear the rest of the trainers out. And we need to be careful because that security guard is probably gonna aggro at night and then kill me if I'm like, you know, if I battle him at night. Like if I think if the time ticks over to a certain degree and he's an active trainer battle and I'm running around when I can't beat him. Hey! I'll do that too. You're really slower than a pile of rocks. Ugh! How many goos does it take? Oh my god. Bro, I don't know. Headbutt? I'm getting paraflinched. I'm getting paraflinched by an Aka. Never mind. I win. Nemuno... Nemuno is a steel type, so I should stay in, because I can't rightly hit her otherwise. That's annoying. Let's smash some rocks. Spikes? That's fine. It's fine. I'm pretty sure nighttime starts at 8 o'clock, right? That's 2 hours from now. I almost can't hit you, but I can hit you. Oh, that was super effective. I thought that would be neutral because of the steel typing. Well, whatever. Good job, Glurp. 4 HP. Didn't I train enough? There's still another guy. So we should exchange phone numbers. Don't you have any confidence that you can beat me again? That's not how you get people to get your phone number, my guy. I don't want your phone number. Why? Because you think you can't beat me again? Like, yeah, I definitely want to have conversations with somebody who thinks like that. Sorry, bruh. Can we battle right now? No? Can't battle right now? There's 2 more guys down here. There's the school kid and the Pokefan. Do the way step counter for egg hatching. It's fast to only get hatch 1 egg from the NPC at a time. I mean, you say that, but like, the eggs are gonna produce at a rate where I'm only gonna get 1 at a time anyway. I'm gonna talk to him, get an egg, and as I'm trying to get the next egg, the previous egg is gonna hatch. Like, that's just how that's gonna work. I know that's how that's gonna work. Why are you switching? I thought you were good at this. Oh, that's why you're switching. Because that's a good matchup. Last time I got crit. Heartgold! You're out of the game. That's why we switched. Beef. Little rat. Little rat, little rat. Little rat, little rat. Boo-hoo-hoo. I'm getting her back in there. When is... Oh, I just remembered. I can cheese the shit out of Voltorb Flip. I forgot. I can cheese the shit out of Voltorb Flip. Chat. How much other Pokemon you can buy with Voltorb Flip coins? I don't remember. Does anyone remember? How much do they cost? Cause it'd be, you know what'd be cool? If those are random and we have enough coins, just bulk buy, see them, and see which one ends up being shiny. Why does everybody on this fucking route want my phone number? Bum bum. I just got my puppet back from the daycare. Let's see how much stronger it got. I don't remember if there's a 9999 reward in this game. I don't know if a maxed out coin wallet can buy every, like, puppet in there. Because that would be convenient for seeing. Because we could turn Goldenrod into an encounter like that. I still want to get the goo. But, like, that might be a pain in the ass. Did I get swaggered? I think I got swaggered. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I did. Right. Yeah. I don't play Volt Torp Flip, but like, I don't play the slots either. I never played the slots, I just bought coins. I don't remember if you can buy coins in this game. Oh, you're gonna astonish. Okay, I did 18 and I flinched, so now I'm leaving. Guya. I always tend to think that Kogasa is part water. Mimic. I also tend to think that every Komachi I'm fighting is a steel type. Okay, now I'm in a pickle. Okay, cut this out. Alright. Hey, that works. And now I'm switching. How about you buy a random? It should be Mike, Kadama, and Sumireko. Really? Well, I don't... Well, Mike is one thing. Bagooby. Kadama I already have. And Sumireko, like, why would I spend 6,000 coins on a Sumireko when I can go back to, like, the second route and get one for free? Why get one for free? I'm losing. I'm losing to this fucking umbrella. Die! Well, you know what? I could have just done that twice instead of trying to use the Leech Seed move. How about that? Watch this. As I activate Poison! Oh, yeah. I can't get access to, like, Flamethrower and Ice Beam and shit really early. Which I might do, because I am the one. I don't remember what type Koishi is, so I hope that Glurp can handle it. I like her stupid noise, because I don't understand it. Psy Shot. That's gonna hurt. Never mind, it did 6 fucking damage. That was super effective. Low kick. That works. Low kick. Glurp is surprisingly sturdy. I mean, I guess I could... I don't know if this game lets you check base stats in the Pokédex. I don't think so. Why does it end this way? TMs from the coins in the department store. Game Corner sells evolution stars, and store sells berries. Okay. Alright, well that's fine. Well, let's go take care of business then. Where do you get the coin case in this game? I don't remember. Is it in the underground lot? There's trainers down there too. I should probably go deal with them anyway. I don't know. Oh, Mr. Voltorb. Oh, Mr. Voltorb. Oh, what about the Eevee? That Billiam gives you. But I guess I have to go to Ecruteak for that first, don't I? Hi, Jupe. How you doing? The dress-up shop. Here's a fashion case. Thanks, buddy. For the fashion case. Right, I can sell my Tay here as well. For a trade evo. Or a trade, well, I mean... They're also trainers. Okay. I'm going down. I'm going downtown. Gonna have myself a time. Friendly faces everywhere. I don't remember the rest of that song though. Bum. Alright. There's freaks and geeks down here. I got booted out of the game corner. I kept winning at the new coin game and they thought I was cheating. Oh. Well. My ass is gonna cheat. But they ain't gonna be able to prove it. Actually, chat, you know what that reminded me of? There's a game called Jade Empire. I don't know anything about the game, like, at all, really. Oh, that doesn't affect you, okay. But there's a dice mini game you can play, and if you win like 20 times in a row, the guy who's doing the game like spontaneously combusts, and then you can no longer gamble. The gambling dude just explodes, so you can't cheese anymore by saving. That's so funny. I don't remember what the fuck I need to hit you with. Alright, well, that's helpful because I wasn't gonna... If that didn't work, I don't know what that shit would have done. Stuff like that's funny. He just spontaneously combusts. He goes like, ah! And then some dude's like, shit, man, I knew you were bad luck. Oh my god! Holy shit! I got stabbed in the vitals. And then Sakuya. Well, we know that Heart's probably good against it, so we'll have the other crybaby tantrum thrower. Bagoo, bagoo, bagoo. Oh shit! That's a normal Sakuya. I thought it was shiny. I thought that was shiny because she's got red ribbons and like a black dress. How is that not shiny? Oh, that didn't do any damage. Uh-oh. At least this is resisted, but... Oh, video games. Actually, chat. That reminded me of another video I watched. It was about, like, rulings in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Card rulings. And there was an interesting rule that, I learned about. And that is that you're not allowed... You're not allowed to activate the effects of a card if its effect cannot resolve. So what that means is that, for example, if you have a card and its effect lets you, like, summon a monster from the deck, but you don't have a monster in the deck for that, like, for that effect, you're not allowed to activate that effect. Which that sounds simple in theory, but as you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are sweaty losers, as are all competitive players. So, like, what happens in a situation where you bluff? Where you go to do your search effect, and you're hoping that your opponent will cause a chain to stop it, so its effect can't resolve. Even though, in truth, that effect could never resolve in the first place, because you don't have the card for it. Would you get penalized? You'd probably get penalized, right? But, like, imagine, for example... you had, Toon Table of Contents. That's the main one I know. Toon Table of Contents lets you search your deck for a card with the word Toon in it. And the reason why this card is used... is not because, like, it's looking for a Toon card. That might have changed, actually, nowadays, of course. But the reason why it was used, because you could run 3 copies of it and search itself to help thin your deck to increase your odds of getting the cards you actually want. However, you can't play the last one because the last tune table of contents that you had will not have a searchable card in your deck. So the effect can't resolve, so you wouldn't be allowed to play it. But like, if you played it and you looked through your deck and were like, oops, I don't have a card anymore that works, teehee, I guess I'll just shuffle my deck for free. It's an auto loss. What? You just automatically lose if you make that mistake? Because there's another, like, the other situation is, like I said, like, you have like, what if you have an effect and your opponent, like, uses, like, Ash Blossom or something? That's the only one I know, of course. Like, let's say your opponent Ash Blossoms to stop an effect of a card, but the card that you used actually can't resolve. The effect that you were trying to use actually couldn't resolve. Whether it was intentional or not, you can't do that, right? But like, they use a resource to stop it from happening, even though the effect never could have went through in the first place. But they wouldn't know that because the way they stuffed it, right? How's that work? I don't know what Disturbance does. Oh, it lowers my accuracy. Okay. I sense a disturbance. You stop doing that, clown? I remember Andrew once showed me tournament footage of some guy reading a relinquish card's effect, picking it up off the board, reading it, and then putting it back down on the board in the wrong position. 60 versus 50. He put the card back on the wrong position of the board, which actually affected how its effect works. And the first time he did it, they were like, "Oh, careful there." And then he tried to do it again, and they were like, "Okay, buddy." Okay, buddy. Watch it. There are cards with search fail safes. Those are old. You will say, "Oh wait, I don't have a target," and they will get the things back to hand. But the thing is that you still get information, right? Like, even if the board reverts back to the way it was, if you made an oopsie, you're still gaining information, right? And that in itself is why they try to avoid it, because that kind of information is very powerful in the game. Whoa, that hurt. And if you're doing it, I mean, there's a difference between intentional and accidental, right? Sinui. So I'm staying in, actually. If you go, "Oops, teehee, I made a mistake," it's like, okay, but if you're doing that every single game, every single round, like, at a certain point, you should be familiar enough with your deck. Like, if it's like your round one, you're like, "Oh shit, oops." But if you're in like fucking grand finals, and you go, "Oops, teehee, I don't have a search effect with that." It's like, bro. Bro, what are you doing? You've been playing with that deck all fucking day. You telling me that you oops teeheed? That's a paddling. And we hit him with Faith. I probably should have just... Nah, actually, I don't think Cut would have killed. It's okay, I have another guy. Guya, if you miss, you're dead. Guya, if you miss, we're both dead. Alright, that works. See, I have to imagine that it's obvious why those rules, like, exist. But it's also 100% possible that somebody exploited the rules, because exploiting the rules is cool. Because some people really have the mindset that, like... Some people really have a mindset that it is, like, you are strongly encouraged to figure out as many loopholes to the rules as possible to take advantage of, technicalities. And it's like, no. But people who do that are annoying as shit. But there's also the ones, like, this isn't even really a technicality so much as this is preying on somebody's good nature. You know, in fighting games, they have rules about pausing. Puppet Salon. Nah, I'm good. In fighting games, if your controller disconnects, you have to give up the round. And in the early days of like FGC, giving up the round was something that was at the discretion of the player who got paused on. So let's say you're playing a game against somebody and their controller disconnects, and now it's like, do you want to take the round from them? Do you want to take the round from them, or do you want to play it out? And most people play it out because, well, that's just, you know, that's the better thing to do, in the sense that people are gonna get on your ass if you don't. So that's why there's tournaments. They have forced rules that say if somebody's controller disconnects, they drop the round. No amount of it's cool, we'll just reset neutral works. And the reason for this ruling is to avoid the other player from having to become a bad guy because he wanted to take the round, right? What if the controller disconnected in a situation where he was in the middle of a combo that would end the round? And then he drops it, and he's like, all right, cool, we'll just reset neutral, and then he loses the round for that. Like, if you're the guy whose controller disconnected, you're thinking, like, man, I lucked out, didn't I? But imagine if somebody did that. Apparently, I think it was a fighting game. A Mortal Kombat game. There was a Mortal Kombat game. It was either Deception or Deadly Alliance, or one of those 3D ones. But there was a bug in the game that if you disconnected your controller... If you disconnected and reconnected your controller during, like, the round start part where you're not allowed to move, you actually gain control of your character. So you can move your character before the match even starts and start beating up somebody who is physically unable to play the game because they didn't do the thing that you did. Imagine that. Imagine that, dude. Mortal Kombat 4 is funny because Mortal Kombat 4 has a couple moves that come out so fast at round start that you can't actually block them. You just can't block them. But no, this Mortal Kombat game is just like, you literally, like, when you knock down your opponent and the round goes to you, and like the game's supposed to pause. The game is supposed to pause and be like round 2 or round 3 and then fight, and it goes like that. But you, with disconnecting your controller and putting it back in, while that round is counting, you're moving. You have already started your combo. You are beating the shit out of your opponent before the round starts, and then the round starts, and they're already mid combo. They're already mid combo. What? Your faith, so that's gonna be resisted. Yeah, that was foolish. Mimic. That's actually fine. Because now we can do this. That did nothing. That did a lot. Tekken feels like that sometimes. Well, Tekken kinda... You know, I don't really know what's going on with current Tekken. But current Tekken is, well, the last thing I saw about Tekken 8 was when they gave Jack 8 the clap machine, where he could auto home in on your position with a big ear clap move, and he just, that was online. Online was, here comes Jack 8, patty cake, Faker's man. That motherfucker just came at you, and if you tried to backdash, you tried to sidestep, that shit found you. And you won games. And you know people were doing it. People were doing it because it's an easy win. Some people don't really care about how they get the win. Some people don't care about that. They don't care how... They don't care how you get to where you are. That's the end justifies the means type of idea, right? You don't really care how you get it, as long like you have an objective. You don't care what was done to obtain it. It's less about like of a journey type of thing, mind you. I'm going into Bagooby, but like shiny Pokemon is a good example. Where if you want a shiny Pokemon, your options are run around in the grass for 30 hours or so, try to breed one for 30 hours or so, or some other option that allows you to get shinies. You could also do RNG manipulation, which is tedious, but consistent. Or you can just cheat one in. You can just cheat one in. And for some people, the act of cheating one in is no different to them than if they just put in the time to get one normally. Because to them, the only thing that matters is that they have a shiny. That's the part that matters to them. There's no story to it. There's no history to it. There's no experience to it. The only thing that matters is that they have the shiny. For me, I don't get that. I don't get that type of enjoyment, I suppose you could call it, enjoyment from that type of situation. Because of that, you're not really working to get anything. Ooh, what's this? Safeguard. Yeah. You're not working towards getting anything. You're just clicking a box and it's making it for you. Alright, I got one more guy down here. These trainers are kicking my ass. Maybe because I don't have the right types to beat them. I don't have any real natural elements. No water, no fire. I got grass. But the thing is you can kind of say that about pretty much anything. Pretty much anything that is worth working towards. There are ways to circumvent, like, doing it in favor of just getting to the end product. There are ways to do that. You're a normal ghost type, I believe. You're weak to faith, so we're gonna get in Glurp. And we're gonna kick you in the shins. I think shinies are just a good relevant example for that. Namely because there isn't anything special about them per se. What's special about them is what makes, is what, like the value you put on them. RNG manip in the land shines also above VGC teams for big name players, and the VGC team sounds so much more nightmarish. Yeah, that's a reason for that. For a while, was actually because in Generation, 3, Entei, Raikou, and Suicune, the roaming legendaries in Fire Red and Leaf Green, and I think also Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, they were bugged, so their IVs were garbage. So if you wanted to use one of those Pokemon in competitive, you needed to get one with good IVs, and the only way to do that was to go through Colosseum. So they did RNG manipulation to get good IV to legendaries to use. They couldn't do it for Latios and Latias, but Latios and Latias have the Soul Dew. But also, I think the Latios and Latias you can circumvent by Eon Ticket, because they aren't roaming legendaries with the Eon Ticket. So that is possible for them to have good IVs. That said, good IVs in older games where IVs were something pretty much completely uncontrollable. Chat, where do I get the coin case? I thought I got the coin case down here. Well, whatever. Trainers are dead. We have won. You pretty much did RNG manipulation. Because there's no way that people weren't using min-max Pokemon. Pokegem was a big thing. Pokegem was a way to create Pokemon in a way that made the game view them as legitimate. There's some people who got in trouble because they genned Pokemon in Pokeballs that were impossible for them to get. So that was silly. I seem to recall years ago there was a bit of a stink about somebody who had they had like an Aegislash and a Dream Ball. My name is Mr. Game. And watch. Yeah, sure. Here's your coin case. Thank you. So what do you guys sell? So you got Solar support. Solar is Advent. Power, Swift, Tech. Held items. Wedding dress, wide lens, metronome. I don't remember what the wedding dress is, but that's not that great. 2000's pretty good. Mike Kadama Sumireko. Okay. Beast Ball Porygon. No, somebody got in trouble for having a Dream Ball Aegislash. Like, that's impossible, so they got disqualified. And there was a stink about it. Like, what? That's bullshit. Why was he disqualified? Because he had an illegal mon. Like, that's kind of the simple aspect of it. If you're gonna gen your Pokemon, you might want to not be lazy about it to the point where it's easily discoverable by, like, official judges. Everybody, it's no secret that you're doing it. Everybody fucking knows you're doing it. But if you've got, like, a big black mark that says, yes, I did it, what are you gonna do? Disqualify me? You're gonna get disqualified. We all know you motherfuckers do it. The good players don't even do it for themselves. People do it for them. Show me how to play. Yeah, okay. Play Voltorb Flip level 1. Alright, boys, let's make some money. Ready? Do you know how to play Voltorb Flip? No. This is how you play Voltorb Flip. You look for... Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs. I just want some money for shards. Na, 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 na. You got 3. Bum bum ba-dum. You're dead. You lose. Who's got time for this? Da na 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 na. Game clear. Right. 27 coins. Okay. Play Voltorb Flip level 2? Yeah. You can make a pretty large sum of cash when you get to the final one. So the only one you have to flip over are the 2s and the 3s. Obviously you don't know where the 2s and the 3s are. But, you know. Here comes the skill-based gaming, boys. Ready? Time for skill-based gaming. Oh, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Oh my god, dude. You're dead. Are you even thinking? No. You guessed wrong all 3 times. Good. I'm looking. Give me a second. So we know those are all bugged. Okay, that's good. That's good. Boom, you lose, loser. Boom, you lose, loser. Okay. What are you doing? I don't know why I did that, actually. I don't know why I did that. I knew that was the wrong answer. Alright. Oh, I already flipped that one earlier. Yep. We did it. Game clear. The game is now over. Now I made 54 coins. No, I got it. At game level 3? Yeah. Here we go. Ready? Yeah. Now it's a 50-50 on that one. Well, ain't that something? Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun. Alright. There you go. There you go. Okay. Oh, too bad. Too bad. I think if you lose, the board opens up anyway. I'm not gonna do this again. This is boring. This is so boring. Times 2. Great. Ba-boom. You lose. There's one more. There's one more. Wait, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Yeah. Okay, now I have 209 coins. Don't worry. I'm not playing anymore, but Daycare Man's calling. I'm coming. Yeah, when you get to max level, it starts paying out in like the thousands. Like it gets really high, but obviously to ramp that high naturally is difficult. Your puppet was holding an egg. We don't know where they came from, McMahon. Would you like me to contact you by the phone? Yeah, you already did, dickhead. And now you're gonna ask me every time. What? Okay, I didn't check this grass. Let's check this grass first, and then it's time to get busy. 25 hours of gameplay? No, not quite. Not quite. Remember, shinies, egg, the stats of an egg are determined as soon as you get the egg. And Lyrica can't fucking run, because of course she can't. Parsi can run, but Parsi also keeps people away. Iku. Iku Star. Cool. Iku Star. And Wriggle. And Misamaru again. God damn it. I'm gonna look at 3 more. Mima! 2. 3. Which direction does this motherfucker face? Yeah, I do. Okay, well, I need to make some room so I can carry multiple egg. Alright, Glurp, take a seat. I didn't think you'd have an egg that quickly. That was so fast. Alright. Let's go visit the department store. Oh, I should probably get the bike, actually. Let me go get the bike. I open a branch to sell my bicycles. Sure. Give me your name and phone number. Cool. Now I have a bike. Am I gonna ride it? I mean, I can. Not like it gets me anything, but I can. Alright, let's go to floor 4. The trade guy is on one of these floors, right? That's what I call professional. I got my Patchy at the game corner. Now it's my best partner. Where did you get a Patchy at? They don't have Patchies at the game corner. Believe me, I would know. I was there. Do you use X special? No. Welcome, what do you need? Those are just expensive vitamins. Feed them protein to crank their what? What do you got? Lychee berry. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, even the starf berry? That's a funny one. And then Eevee berries. Okay. She even gives away TMs. Ooh. Daily drawing corner. For $300, you can win a wonderful prize. Sure. Number 2! A netball. Wednesday's prizes are a tech shard, net orb, and a berry. Do you listen to the radio? No. Try a vending machine. I thought there was a roof. Where's the trade guy? Well, first I gotta go down here and see if I can snag a free item. What's that? A Yugi. Macho! Oh, wait. Yugi, help us move that container. Give me that shit. An Ultra Orb. Ah, there's an amulet coin down here. Can you... Yeah. Yeah! Yeah, bro! Yeah! That's the good shit! A burn heal? That's not that good. How long does it take Goo to hatch? Long enough. An ether. Oh, I guess the amulet coin is behind the rocket bit. Okay. Whatever. Oh! Oh, we're gonna be crawling in these things, aren't we? We're gonna be crawling in these things. What if the game doesn't let me release them? Trainer's Market. Where's the asshole who wants to trade? Did I miss him? You? I don't remember where that guy is. Oh, whatever. Alright. Back down we go. We gotta go to the box and remove. This has gotta be the worst part. When you talk to this guy and he's like, by the way, would you like us to call you? No. Alright. Impish Reckless. Goodbye! Bye! Alright. Say goodbye to Exodia! Alright. Now is the time, chat, to pull up. It's liminal, mine. It's liminal. Come on. It's liminal. I should probably get on the bike. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, can't you go faster on this fucking thing? Oh, I turned speed up off. I'm collecting goo. I'm collecting goo. Wait, wouldn't it be faster if I put 2 goos in there? Isn't that faster? What yang? Are you yin? You're the upside down, or the right side up one. Yeah, that'll work. Give me that Kadama. It'll cost $13. No, I don't want the other one. Here, take this one. This will increase the odds. Now there's 2 goos in there. And now I should probably check that that actually worked. It's alright, little Kadama. Every Kadama has its day. You'll get yours too. Don't think about it. See, they get along. They get along. Isn't that great? Now the odds of getting an egg are even higher. And now, we sit back, we relax, and I create a bot script that goes up and down so I don't even have to put my hand on the controller. Why are you in the way of the gym? Gym leader Winnie went flying by saying I have to get a radio card. Oh, right. That's not relevant to me. What is relevant here is go. Wait. Again? Another one? Damn, he's already calling. Okay. You got another one? No? I feel like I should empty my party for this a little, just because they're kind of quick. But, like, that security guard, if he jumps me, I'm gonna lose. Another one! Oh, God. Oh, God, they're reproducing like rabbits. Alright. Alright, alright. Everybody's getting boxed. Actually, Medicine, you are the only one I can count on. Except police officers all use fire types. Alright. Yes. It's you! You gonna count the egg, streamer? I am going to do nothing. Oh, the bike shop's calling me. Been selling lots of bikes lately. You can keep the bike. Thanks, bro. Alright. You ready? Let's save. Crack your pingors. It's time to get limino, boys. I should get a drink. I feel like I should go get a drink. 3 whole goo. Oh, can Kenya be shiny? Not that I know what Kenya is replaced by in this, but like, you know, I guess you could. That's one. It does reset the egg timer. I tried Masada method in my Heartgold before. I didn't succeed. Another one. Another one. They hatch faster than you can keep up with it, huh? Yeah, I think a little bit. There's one more. There's one more. There's one more. Ooh, spooky cave music. Kenya should have a shiny chance. See, I figured as much. I figured as much, but I mean, like, you have to give him up if you want the TM. What is Kenya in this fucking game, anyway? He ain't calling. Well, I might as well take this opportunity to clean the box. Oh god, hustle. Bye-bye, Flan. No, no, no. Bye-bye, Flan. Remember, what are you doing? I'm releasing multiple Flans into the wild, unsupervised, untrained. Do you have any idea that what we'll do? No, I don't actually. That's why I'm doing it, to find out. It's an experiment. The ecosystem. And immediately, 2 eggs, just like that. I hate that bike theme. The only bike theme I think I actually enjoy is Gen 1's, and that is purely from a nostalgic standpoint. Otherwise, I hate bike music. Dude, I think Gen 5 bike music bugs me the most, because you go to an area like the Giant Chasm, and it's like, whoa, this piano is really nice. And it's just so good. And then you put it on your bike, and it's like, it just like completely fucking ruins the atmosphere that the music is building up. Bike music has no regard for the area that you're in, and that's a bad thing, because it's just like you get on your bike and it's like wee, but like you're in a fucking like ancient chasm that's been forgotten to time. But you get on your fucking shitty little pocket bike and the game's like, ha ha, fun! No. No, sir. This sounds like Wind Waker music. Does anyone have a better playlist than Liminal Nintendo music? Because this music just sounds stupid. Anyone got anything better? I'm looking. 4 hour of chill and 64 music to study, work, relax with nostalgia playlist. Okay. And immediately Dire Docs. That's pretty good. Super Mario. We were raising your puppets and we were surprised. Your puppet had an egg. Bum bum ba dum. Isn't it interesting this is referred to as Dire Docs music, but it appears first in JRB? Now, you know what's interesting about Mario 64 is that Mario 64 as a game really embodies true freedom for a collectathon, I think. What I mean by that is that in the entirety of Mario 64, there's only 1 star in the game that you have to actually collect, assuming you're not glitching, of course. The only star in the game you need to collect is Board Bowser's sub, because that star is preventing the player from accessing Bowser in the Fire Sea. Every other star in the game can be skipped. Now, you do need at least 70 of them to beat the game, of course. But what I'm saying is the only star that you absolutely need to get in the game is Board Bowser's sub, because that star is directly linked with passage to a Bowser level. If you do Bomb on Battlefield as your first star, you don't have to do King Bomb. You can do Chain Chomp. Hell, you can even do Floating Island. You can't do Secrets. You might be able to do Reds. This lady found something, so I'm gonna go check out what she found. What you got for me? Hopefully it's something good. This girl can find you leaf stones in the original. Yeah, tech shard. Look at that. She found me a free tech shard. That sells for a lot of moolah. I'm gonna save because of getting that actually. In Mario Sunshine, the only shine you can like get out of order. Uh-oh, are you gonna battle me now? Okay, good. The only shine you can get out of order is like Petey. You can go up the windmill after the first one without collecting the star. And then you can fight Petey. And there's even a Pianta who's like, are you sure you should be here right now? Don't you have like something else you should be doing? But that's the only one you can really skip. Now obviously speedrunners have figured out how to get the watermelon one, which lets them skip all of Gelato and go back to the Shadow Mario, which is really fast. But like that game it's restrictive in shine order, but you are allowed to go to a lot of different areas. Galaxy's probably the most restrictive, but Galaxy is also like my favorite game, so I have some bias towards that. Galaxy 2 is probably the worst for it, because Galaxy 2, you're not even allowed to get all the stars in Galaxy sometimes. You have to progress, and later in the game, the male toad will give you a letter, and it will open up a star in a previous galaxy, and you have to backtrack for it. So you can't even clean a planet out. It does exist in the first one with Luigi stars, yeah. And comets, which are admittedly pretty annoying, but, well, comets also exist in the second one. Anyway, my point is, earlier platformers and earlier games in general, I wouldn't say they were afraid to hold the player's hand, but they were definitely a lot less like, play the game the way I want you to play it. And I think maybe the reason for that is because people who like test video games are the people who make the video games and play video games. So there's like a certain level of video game intelligence that is just accepted in the test room, and that's not really a thing anymore. Especially because in modern times, there's so many different games you can play that if your attention span wanes or you get stuck or confused, you're not going to want to play the game anymore, and you're going to turn it off. That's why they have so many things in these games that are like dopamine hits without actually like doing anything, because they keep you engaged and they keep you playing. I mean, it's funny because if QTEs weren't a thing like 10 years ago in the PS3 360 era, I bet you QTEs would be a huge thing now. Because QTEs are exactly the kind of like, they're exactly the kind of dopamine rush that a player would get for interacting with the game in a way that's actually just not really interacting with the game. So you watch a cutscene, and every now and again you gotta press a button to make sure you're paying attention. Today we have yellow paint. We have yellow paint and a large number of like characters that talk and quip and tell you like, hey, this is how you play the game. Oh, did you find something, Gina? What are you doing? My medicine found a... Yeah, that's great, but I don't care because you didn't find me a cool item. What about Odyssey? Odyssey is extremely open. Odyssey has like objectives that you have to do in the world. But Odyssey has so many moons that it's actually kind of a detriment to the game, because some of the moons are so fucking pointless that you have to wonder why they even exist. I gotta be careful. Like some of the moons are like, all right, go to the sub area, do this sub area, find the secret in the sub area. That's cool. And then some of the moons are, this little hill is like protruding a glow, ground pound on it. Okay, now what? Congratulations, here's a moon. It's worth exactly the same as jumping over the jump rope 100 times. So that game is inflated with moons that are kind of watered down the actual like moon value, if that makes sense. Collecting moons is fun, but some of the moons really are just like, okay, sure, I guess. Did you guys see the newish Square Enix game, the Elliot game? It's like 2.5D. I watched Vinny play the demo, and I think he played like one part, and then he stopped. Yeah, that game does not shut up. That game has like a little fairy companion who does not shut up. They do not stop talking, and it's all voiced. It's all voiced. Have you ever seen those internet videos of people remaking old games with modern design decisions? You ever seen the fucking Legend of Zelda ones? Link, you got a silver... I can sense a silver rupee nearby. Link, you got a silver rupee. Oh, yeah, I can sense a silver rupee nearby. Link, you got a silver rupee. I could sense a silver rupee nearby. And it's just like 3 different characters all interacting with tutorial text, reminders, so on and so forth. It's just like... This is obviously a parody on what we're currently at. You know what that means, right? Yeah, trouble. I thought I smelled something burning. Focus M. Absolutely brain rotted. That's where we're at. And that Elliot game I just said, straight up, that Elliot game is very like it's obviously an exaggeration to an extent, but this Elliot game is actually like that. Who's calling me? Oh shit, oops. They actually just don't stop talking. Ever. Quip after quip after quip. Like, I don't mind, like, the Fire Emblem, like, crit lines and battle lines and stuff. That's fine. But Marvel really cemented an era of, like, quips and, like, one-liners everywhere. Someone always needs to say something to, like, alleviate the mood. It's like games and just media in general is terrified to let the viewer experience something on their own. They have to tell you what you should be experiencing. It's like they don't like the idea of you having to think for yourself, so they have to reaffirm what they're trying to, like, get across with their story. They gotta beat it over your head so you know what it's about. And it's like, I get it, but I don't get it. I tend to praise Silent Hill 2 a lot because Silent Hill 2 is a fantastic narrative. It's, as a game, it's pretty subpar, let's be real. But as a narrative, a story, it is quite a well done, put together, cryptic, weird, and like a downright depressing story. But it's good because the game doesn't beat you over the head with anything. There's a lot of hints and pieces and information you can find, and you can piece together the story as you go, and it keeps you intrigued to really understand what's happening. And even when you're done and you think you understand it all, there's still aspects in it that you're missing, or maybe they were already there. Like, for example, in Silent Hill 2, whenever Eddie talks, you can see his breath. And when you fight Eddie at the end of the prison segment, you fight him in a meat locker, which is like, he's in a freezer. And that's Eddie's other world. Eddie's other world is basically just a giant freezer. And you can see, whenever interacting with him with James, that you can see his breath, implying where he is cold. At the end of the game, when Angela's walking up the flight of stairs when everything's on fire, she tells James that it's always like that for her. There's another one I saw recently that I didn't even think about, and that's the fact that out of every character that appears in Silent Hill 2, James is the only one with a flashlight. I never thought about that, but James is always wandering around in the dark, and he's got a flashlight, but every time he interacts with any other character, they don't have flashlights. And when you look at the fact that Angela's otherworld is on fire, it's lit by fire, and Eddie's is like in a freezer, so it's got those luminescent, like, buzzing lights everywhere. But for James, everything is just dark, so he needs a flashlight to see. But nobody else carries a flashlight in the game. Nobody. And it's like, huh, how about that? And it's just one of those things I never noticed. I just kind of had it pointed out to me. I was like, oh, shit. That's something new that I never noticed. Silent Hill 2 does a very good job with that, I think. I think Silent Hill 2 is a fantastic story. It's honestly the part about Silent Hill that I think is the strongest. I don't like the cult stuff very much about Silent Hill. I like the aspect of James as a character coming to terms with why he's even, like, there. Obviously, the cult stuff is relevant to an extent, but it's not like Silent Hill 1 or 3 or even 4. 2 really feels like it stands alone in the universe, and to me, it defines, like, Silent Hill as what I like about Silent Hill. Now, I know there was a movie, I think it was called Return to Silent Hill. There was a really bad Silent Hill 2, like, adaptation. I don't remember much about it, but I remember people talking about it, and it was not good. Shocker, I know. Not good. But, oh well. It exists. Silent Hill does not have great movies. The first movie is okay. The second movie is apparently really bad, but I never watched it. I only watched the first one. Here's hoping the remake of the first game is good, you know, whenever that comes out. It's also Code Veronica. It's getting a remake as well. We'll see how that one goes. Oh my. Now we're going. Now we're going. One more. But like I said, like with modern games, there's kind of a lot of people in your ear telling you, like, things. Like, here's what you're supposed to feel as the player. Like, they're trying to reaffirm, like, this is bad. Thing bad. Being evil bad. Some games just let you be an asshole to be an asshole. Why not? You could just be an asshole in some games. Unfortunately for you, my power fantasy is being helpful. If I have the power to, like, overcome impossible odds and help people, I'm gonna fucking help people. I tried being a dick in Fallout 3. I blew up Megaton, and then I immediately got bored of the playthrough. I like, that was it. I blew up Megaton, and I was like, I'm bored. Like, I was just bored. I didn't want to play anymore. So that's the farthest I ever got to an evil run in Fallout. Was just blowing up Megaton and being like, cool. Now what? Nothing. I like Homecoming. But you already knew that. Everybody knows that. Homecoming is one of those games that streamer actually likes a lot. And it's not a very good game. Especially as a Silent Hill game, it probably makes some people want to puke. But I have a soft spot for Homecoming because it was my first Silent Hill game. And I played it and I beat it and I thought it wasn't that bad. It is kind of crusty, but I liked it. Never played the one on PSP. Not like I ever really had the chance to, mind you. There was the remake, the reimagining of the one on the Wii. Forget what that one's called, actually. I think it's called Shattered Memories. I've played 2. I've played 3. I've watched a full playthrough of 1. I've watched a full playthrough of 4. And I have never seen anything on Downpour. I do not know what Downpour really is. Because Downpour, from what I could find, is that it's pretty much only on the PS3, and the game is a resounding, like, 6 out of 10. So it's not, like, terrible, but it's not really anything, so it's just, like, it's one of those games that I imagine you'd play, and you'd be done with it, and you would forget about it within a couple days, because nothing memorable really happened. But I would know. Downpour is the one with the convict. I believe that one starts with you're on a prison bus and it crashes and breaks down. That's all I remember. Gina, did you find another item for me? Oh, she did. Here at last, this will make... Oh, wow, Gina! My bestest friend! She gave me another tech shard. Now I have 2. The vet I'm assuming you mean veteran, not veterinarian. Alex. That's Alex Shepard. That's Alex Shepard. That's Homecoming. Although, spoiler alert. I'm gonna spoil a game that's 20 years old. He's not actually a vet. He didn't enroll as a soldier or anything like that. He's actually on the wacky. He actually went wacky, and he never did that. What a fool. The plot of Homecoming is quite interesting. I don't think it's bad. It takes place more in Shepherd's Glen and Silent Hill, but Silent Hill does come up. But there's also a bunch of references. There's like 3 or 4 references to Silent Hill 2 in it. Obviously, there's the Boogeyman, aka Pyramid Head. There's also achievements for... There's an achievement for killing every enemy once. The achievement for killing the skinned dog is Eddie's Legacy, which is a reference to Eddie from Silent Hill 2. And there's also an enemy called a Siam, which has a mannequin strapped to its back, which is its weak point. And if you kill that enemy, the achievement's called Shades of James, because the mannequin is one of James's monsters, with the nurse and the weird smoker like thing. The mannequin. The mimic. No. No. Yes. No, the plot of Homecoming is that Shepherd's Glen has to the founding fathers. The founding fathers of Shepherd's Glen have to sacrifice like one of their children every certain 50 years or something, I think. And what happens is that Alex has a brother named Josh, and his family was going to sacrifice Alex, but due to accident, Josh ends up dying, and it fucks everything up. And it's neat because the bosses in the game are all the children that were sacrificed, and the way they were sacrificed. Like the first boss, the child was buried alive, and he comes back as like some kind of weird creature in a hole. The second boss is a girl who was dismembered by a dentist. She comes back as a porcelain doll. The next one is a girl she's killed by strangulation, and her boss is called Asphyxia, and she has a bunch of hands and she's not breathing. And you actually kill her, cinematically you kill her by exposing her lungs to air. You rip the hands off her mouth and she breathes. And then the last boss is the fourth boy who died, Joshua. And he's a pregnant spider lady. Why? Because he likes spiders. And he drowned. He drowned. Which apparently that was the way that you were, the shepherd's kid were supposed to die anyway, was being drowned. So, yeah. So everything got fucked up because Alex accidentally killed his brother. Then he went into shock and thought he could save his brother. And then he was in a mental hospital for years. And when he came back to Silent Shepherd's Glen, he thought he was looking for Joshua, because he had completely convinced himself that Joshua was still alive. He was going to get him out of there. And that he had fabricated a whole life that he had lived, where he left town to become a soldier. But that's not actually what happened. And if you're familiar with Silent Hill 2, again, spoilers, what happens in Silent Hill 2 is that shortly before the game starts, James does kill Mary. Mary is in the car that James is like riding in. Like she's in the back of the car. Her body is right there. James stops at a pit stop, looks at himself in the mirror, and then hallucinates that he has a letter from Mary that says she's at Silent Hill. James convinces himself that Mary died 3 years ago to a disease, because in the original, there's a tape recording with the doctor, between the doctor and James, that you can hear after you see the video, where the doctor says that, like, she won't be cured, the disease will kill her, and she has about 3 years to live. That's actually not in the remake, surprisingly. I guess it's a little spelt out for you in the original in that one. But that's why James says that she died of the disease 3 years ago, because 3 years ago he received the news that the disease was going to kill her in 3 years. So I guess in his mind that information was woven to say like she died then. But in actuality, Mary had only been dead for a couple hours prior to the events of Silent Hill. Like in the remake, I think it's the in water ending, you can even see it, where like he's in the car and he's seemingly talking to himself, but he's talking to Mary, and he kind of looks at the back seat. And in one of the endings, you can actually see a little bit of Mary, like her clothes in there. So I think the idea, because it seems like the idea is that the in water ending is about as canon as the Leave ending. It's a little poetic, I suppose, but it's also not a good ending. But I guess the idea was that James was going to... His original plan from the start was he was going to drive into the lake. And then he went delirious, and then he started looking for his dead wife. And then Silent Hill showed him the truth. And depending on, things, he either resumes what he was planning to do originally, or he leaves with Laura. Now, the interesting thing on that, to me, is that in the Leave ending, you see James leaving Silent Hill through the way he came with Laura, which means he's probably heading back to his car. His car with the body of his wife. So, yeah. I mean, you could probably slice it as like, okay, he's gonna go bury her now. But like, and Laura knows she's dead because James told her that he killed her. But that's still kind of fucked up. Just like, all right, get in the back. Oh, right, oops. Right, let me just take care of that real quick. You just got to, like, she's just chilling in the back seat. Now, the characters in Silent Hill 2 are quite unfortunate. And they really do touch on some topics that modern games would be downright terrified to touch. Angela is an absolutely tragic character, and Eddie is a pretty tragic character too. It's just the way Eddie ends up like coping with his trauma is one that presents him as, well, a bad guy, because he snaps in a way. It wasn't his fault that he was, like senselessly bullied and harassed and picked on his entire life, but he snapped to the degree that he chose violence. He chose violence and he enjoyed it. So it's like he is a bad guy, but he was pushed to such circumstance. I'm not trying to say he's like, a sympathetic villain, mind you, but in Angela's case, it's just like, fuck, there's nothing about that character that can make somebody feel like good. Like that character is just... It does not take long for that character to be like... For the player to be like, okay, something's up with this character. And then once you fight the abstract daddy, it's it hits you with like the subtlety of a fucking freight train. And you're like, oh, I see. Yes. Like there's no laughter, there's no jokes. Like, that character is just plain and simple tragic. But characters don't really written like that. Characters aren't really written like that too much anymore. And like I said, Marvel dialogue has kind of taken over the world a little bit, where everything kind of needs to be made lighthearted by throwing in quips, quirks, one-liners, and zingers. Because the idea, like, you don't want the audience to feel any form of awkwardness. You want to keep them laughing. Tell a joke, Don't let them think too much about it. But Angela doesn't do that. Angela has a couple lines that as soon as she drops them, it's like you're just like, oh. And like all you can really do is accept what this character is saying. You don't even have to read between the lines. You just have to sit there and read it and deal with it. And it is extremely uncomfortable because it's a subject matter that is not really, it's not really one that's done lightly. And it's one you really shouldn't tell a joke about in the midst of a moment. But like I said, it's just, you don't get that opportunity. You just sit there and you take it. You sit there and you read and you learn about this character, maybe to a degree where you don't want to. But you're also fascinated by the other characters. I'm curious what other characters in the world see. Because as you can see from James' perspective, he learns more and more about what his mind is pushing out. Silent Hill is forcibly showing him what it is he's trying to run away from. And that's happening for the other characters too. Because in Angela's case, she's looking for her mother, and she has a vague mention of her father and brother the first time you meet her. And as you go further and further in, you kind of understand the role that all the family members kind of played in that regard. In Eddie's case, you bump into him because he's on the run, and he's not really able to acknowledge what it is he did. He immediately is like saying, like, I didn't do it, it wasn't me. But the further in you go, especially when you get to the prison and he's got his revolver, and it's like, okay, so what happened there? He came to terms with it, I guess. He remembered what happened. Seems like everybody in Silent Hill has a bit of a lapse of memory, and it's not really a lapse of memory so much as it's like pushing it. And the other characters before James kind of realize why they're there before him, especially Eddie, because they both kind of make comments about how they're the same. Eddie just straight up says, like, don't get all holy on me, James. This town called you too. So Eddie understands why he's there. And that's why Eddie is assuming that James has done something similar to him. And Angela kind of implies it as well. So there's something that those two learn prior to James. I guess James' trauma is stronger? I don't even know what you call it. Stronger, mind you. But they become more aware of what it is they're running from, to the degree that when James kind of says stuff, they kind of have this moment of like, oh, yeah, really? Because James doesn't really acknowledge it. Until he puts the videotape in his face. He has a couple aspects where it feels like he's doing it, but most of them happen right at the end. Like, first, when Laura says that he has a letter, when she has a letter from Mary, and she mentions, Mary, they were in the hospital, and it hasn't been that much time, James goes from, trying to just talk to he's trying to talk to Laura without, scaring her, but then immediately accuses her of lying because of that. But when you get further into the game, when you get to the hotel at the end and Laura gives more information, James isn't really denying it. He's more like questioning his own memory. I think at that point in the game, if you read Mary's letter, it's just blank as well. But it is a messy thing. There's a lot of smaller, subtle things that you don't even really notice on first playthroughs, and even on subsequent playthroughs because they're just so small. Small things like wording, even areas, things that look the way they do in certain areas as well. Eddie doesn't have any reference to football players in the remake. In the original game, he mentions how the guy he shot is going to have a hard time playing football on what's left of that knee, but he doesn't say anything like that in the remake. But in the original, when you enter the room in the apartments where he's vomiting into the toilet, there's posters on the wall of football. It's why would that be there? Why exactly would that be there, right? It's the little things. It's the little things that add up and the small things you notice. Subtle environmental storytelling in a way. And I think that's what makes it so interesting and why it's such a good story, is because even if you read, watch, play the story numerous times, there's different parts that you can notice when you have more information going in the future. And then when you go in and you see things and you know how things are, you can understand some of the subtle references and foreshadowing that actually were happening. over the course of the game leading up to those points. That said, there are some games that, while it is great that you can replay them and learn more on subsequent playthroughs, there's a lot of games where I kind of wish I could experience them for the first time again, because they were so impactful, or the twist was so like, whoa. Like, I've replayed Phoenix Wright games, the Ace Attorney games. I've replayed them. I think I've played through the first, second, and third one at least 3 to 4 times. But I've played them all before. Touhoumon is one of those games for me. Touhoumon is a rabbit. What are you talking about? Kidding. I've never played The World Ends With You. The only thing I really know about that game is that Miko has a color palette in the fighters that looks like the main character. I'm gonna do a couple more of this chat, and then we're gonna move on to art. But this is exactly as boring as you'd expect it to be. It's gonna take some time. It is obviously much slower than just using the grass, but it's alright. Our odds are pretty goo. Maybe no goo today, but we made a lot of progress. We did make a huge amount of progress, so don't even mind. I beat Bugsy, I beat Goop. I beat Route 34, and I beat the Underground Pass. I'm sending goo everywhere. There's one more I got. I got one more. Nothing. That's fine. There will always be more goo. I do wish you could just get rid of them in your party, though. Send them flying. Bum bum ba da ba bum ba da ba bum. Ah. Hey, I've gotten 2 tech shards out of it, so it ain't all bad. Bum 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 bum. Destroying the ecosystem, streamer. Yeah, a little bit. Critical mass. Ba-dum. Some games you replay strictly for the gameplay. Collectathons, platformers. Usually you play those for the gameplay, right? I don't think I've ever replayed an RPG for the gameplay. I'm not even sure I like RPG gameplay, to be honest with you. I'm not even sure I like RPG gameplay. But I've replayed some RPGs. Oh man. I like Mario and Luigi because those you can interact on enemy turn. But like, I have played Persona. I've beaten Persona 4 twice. Why did I beat Persona 4 twice? I don't know. I beat Persona 5 once. I've never really wanted to play it again. And now there's going to be a Persona 6, which I'm actually really curious about because every new Persona game we get, it gets milked for like a decade. Like, not even an exaggeration. That shit gets milked for like a fucking decade. Spin-offs, animated series, a re-released definitive edition that changes the storyline, so their shitty storyline in the first run is like not as bad anymore. And then Persona 6 dancing all night. Hell yeah, brother. You guys ready to dance all night? Let's dance. Woogie boogie woogie. Woogie boogie woogie. Hold on. Persona 6 gacha game. Do you think the main character is gonna be as hot as Joker? Because Joker is one hot fucking commodity, bro. Joker gotta be one of the most successful characters in the entirety of the SMT series. That motherfucker got in everything. That motherfucker got in Smash Brothers. The people loved the Jockler. Ain't no way Persona 6 is gonna have the same level of staying power. Who's the mascot character gonna be? It's gonna be a combination of Teddy and the cat. Awful. Awful. You have the main character, the comic relief, who tries to get serious every now and again, but is oftentimes just completely thrown back into the comic relief role. You have the annoying woman, times 3. Streamer, careful. Careful. You got the big brawny guy who punches. Come on, man. It's all the same archetypes. You know, something I liked about Persona 3 was that it did try to present itself a little more mature in places. One of my favorite lines in that game is, it's kind of like a giant spit in the face on all the Marvel type of dialogue I was talking about earlier. So there's a part like when the death is like, by the way, you're like, the world's going to end at the end of the month, so like, say goodbye. So like, all the C's members are aware that Nyx is gonna come down at the end of the month and just kill everyone, and the world's gonna end. And Junpei, like, there's a moment where Junpei's like on the couch, he's kind of like freaking out, and Yukari tries to tease him. He's like, haha, what are you, scared, Junpei? And Junpei's like, scared? Am I scared? We're all gonna die. How could I not be scared? And Yukari's like, oh, right, yeah. Like, Junpei just shuts that shit down. He doesn't go like, oh, well, you know. He's just like, bro, like, they literally just told me I'm going to die. Like, how could I not be fucking scared? Like, he just shuts down all that quip, zing, doodah, bling. And he just gives it to us straight. Like, yeah, he's the comic relief character. And they try to, like, comic relief him. He's like, no, bro, I'm a human. Like, they just told me I'm gonna fucking die. Of course I'm terrified. That's what makes him a realistic character. Junpei is definitely comic relief, but, like, he's more than just the butt of every joke. I think Yosuke is a horrible character. Yosuke is the worst fucking character in Persona 4. He annoys the shit out of me because he's a joke 99% of the time. And anytime he tries to be serious, he just talks about the fucking, the girl who died, like, second in the fucking tutorial. And it's like, bro, I don't care. I don't care about this character, and I don't care about your motivations, and every time you bring her up, I just roll my eyes. But when you're not bringing her up, you're just being a fucking, you're just being a goof. It's like, alright, whatever. Lame. Lame character alert. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. What about Ryuji? Well, Ryuji has an interesting backstory, but he also just turns into the butt of the joke. Most of the time. I will say, he was pretty smart with the Akechi bit. I did enjoy that. But for the most part, he's just like, yeah, so this, like, Kamoshida was, like, running our team ragged, but he was allowed to do that because he's a fucking Olympic medalist, so nobody could complain. And then I complained, and he made the team hell for everyone, and they all made me quit, so he had to give up his passion for soccer because of that. And after that, he just kind of turns into Yosuke. But I do like the bit where, like, you know, they're talking to Morgana, and Akechi mentions pancakes, and immediately, like, Ryuji's like, we didn't mention pancakes, dude. What are you talking about? But, like, he did it in such a way that it wasn't, like, obvious that he was trying to cover something up. He said it so nonchalantly. He said it so nonchalantly that it's just like, you wouldn't even think much about it. But at the end of the game, it's revealed that they knew, from that moment, they immediately knew that Akechi was sketchy, because he had heard their conversation with Morgana, when only people who have been to Mintos can actually hear Morgana. So that's how they caught him, and that's how the whole plan and it kind of unraveled in their favor, even though it seemed like Akechi had pulled one over on them. So that's a good moment for Ryuji. But otherwise, Ryuji's just, he gets to be, he's the comic relief character, and he doesn't get the respect he deserves most of the time. He's not as bad as Yosuke. But like I said, I think Junpei is a good character. Junpei is definitely, he tries to be like a bit of a party dude. He tries to be fun, but his life was not an easy one. He grew up with an abusive dad, an alcoholic, and I think he kicked his ass or something. I'm pretty sure his story was about how, like, fucked his mom up. I don't know if his mom died, but, like, eventually he like, kicked the shit out of his old man. At least I think he did that. I'm pretty sure he did that. I hope he did that. He was an abusive drunk, and then when Junpei got bigger, he beat the shit out of him. I was like, oh, okay. He also gets with the goth chick. The weird, freaky goth chick. So, you know, he's pretty cool. Pretty cool guy in my books. I'll give him a thumbs up. Good job, Junpei. You weren't just comic relief. Because I think that's what it is that sometimes they forget that characters are more than just the single role that they occupy, right? Like, Junpei's case is obviously, he's a funnier character than we've ever had. And he's supposed to lighten the mood in a lot of situations. But that doesn't mean that the only thing he can do is be the butt of a joke. And be a character that nobody respects. He's still an individual, and you gotta respect his individuality as a character, while also acknowledging that he himself is usually the lighthearted, funny guy who doesn't mind being the butt of the joke sometimes, because it kinda, everybody's having fun. Ethan's calling. I don't fucking care, Ethan. Some characters are trapped in their tropes, and they don't get to evolve and to be more than their tropes. Unfortunately, a byproduct of series that have a large cast of characters is that some characters will get explored to a certain extent, but once their arc is kind of over, they will be relegated to support role. And support role means their personalities will, if they're lucky, be made one-dimensional. If they're not so lucky, they won't even get to talk anymore. They will literally fade into the background and only appear as like a cameo. I would say Sword Art Online does that, but like, I don't think I need to tell you that Sword Art Online isn't exactly the best piece of media to look at when looking for riveting character writing, believable character interactions, and so on and so forth. Alternatively, if you have a series with too many characters, you could just start killing them, because then you don't have to care about what their personalities are anymore, because they're dead. Whoops. How about that? Toho is a bit of an enigma in that way. But I think the thing about Toho is that there's so many fan works that explore individual characters that some characters get more in general. But there's also tons of fan works that are comedic in nature, so they hone in on the one tricks. Because that's for the sake of the comedy piece, those are the pieces that are highlighted. So there's a lot of characters who are dumbed down to one personality trope that is usually like comedic in nature. But it's not like Zun is above just doing it too. Like, Zun can just fucking make a character show up and do like nothing of interest. But there's so many of them. The difference really is that fanworks allow us to explore deeper into characters that we like. And even when they don't appear in canon, sometimes it's better if they don't appear in canon, actually, because sometimes when they appear in canon, they come back as completely different characters than we've expected them to be for the last decade of our lives. And it makes us go, why? Why are you like this? In my head, you were different. Why are you different here? Chat, 5 more minutes, and we will stop, and we will resume this another time. It become boring. Boring's not what I'd call it. I think they just become very different. I don't think Suika's boring, but I think Suika's not very good. I don't think her character is very interesting. Her character is like, she's supposed to be perpetually drunk, but her character is like, seems pretty sober. And her character seems way too concerned about appearing aggressive and like angry all the time. Whereas for years, Suika's character was always just kind of about being drunk and kind of a mood maker and just going with the flow. She's obviously still really strong, people respect her, but like, she didn't really do anything like Lotus Eaters. And then Lotus Eaters, like, here's what Suika is, and it's like, what is going on? Like the beans chapter, where she gets angry about eating them beans with Mioi. But in a Wildhorn Horn chapter, she shows up during Setsuban. She's like, "Rah, I'm an Oni. You're gonna throw beans at me to make me go away." And then no one's throwing beans at her, and she's like, "What? Where's the beans? Where's the party?" But yeah, so like that was Wildhorn Hermit, and then in Lotus Eater is just like, "Oi, will you serve me these fucking beans? Eh? Yeah, with these fucking beans. Get these beans out of my face." Yeah, Flandre came back and then tried to choke Mailing out. We were like, "Flan, what are you doing?" And I was like, "You see, I sensed an enormous magical power from this girl here, and I thought she was finally trying to... She was gonna turn traitor on us, so I figured I'd get rid of her now." They were like, "Flan, you can't do that." You can't do that, Flan. I have negative biases towards Lotus Eaters anyway. That much is for certain. I don't think Lotus Eaters is very good. And I think most characters that come in contact with Lotus Eaters are downgraded. The reason why people disagree is because Lotus Eaters is also a place for a lot of characters to get their first actual cameos outside of their debut games. So they think that Lotus Eaters is good because it's giving characterization to characters who don't have any character. But I've seen what characterization is to characters who have established characters, and all I can say is, man. Every Touhou manga should be written like Sengetsu Sei. They should all be like Sengetsu Sei. All of them. Alright. I was gonna report on the truth. And then she eavesdropped on a conversation with Megumu, and Megumu was like, "Haha, no way a Tengu would be a whistleblower." Nope, and I was like, "Guess I will not be a whistleblower." Even though I am definitely a whistleblower. But no, she heard Megumu go, "No one would whistleblow!" No, definitely not. And Aya took that as a threat. She's like, "Oh shit, she's got me. I was gonna blow the whistle. Guess I'm not doing that anymore." Aya would go to extreme lengths to get her story, her scoop. And then Megumu was like, "Haha, she would never do that." And Aya was like, "Oh shit, I guess I'll never do that." Good old Aya. Nothing stops Aya except her boss. Megumu would be a better character if she didn't exist. How does that work, streamer? Well, I don't know, actually. I don't know how that would work. But it's true. Alright. It's a pretty good fill. Oh. Alright. We can wrap it up with that, I think. Your favorite character shouldn't exist. Why? Because I said so. Who are you? I'm the guy. You're the guy? I'm the guy. You give me a new item, Gina? I don't care. Alright, chat. So, progress has been made, but we're gonna stop here. We got more eggs to hatch in the future. One sec. We will see this through. Okay, and we got 2 tech shards for it, so I can't even complain. Can't even complain, boys. Can't even complain. Alright. Well, thank you for watching this week's episode of Pocket Monsters Heartgold. Oh my. I'll see you next time where we hatch more eggs, which could be the whole stream, or half the stream, or 5 seconds of the stream, because maybe the egg I'm holding is already the shiny. We'll see.